feel like there is much to say on this, so I will try and keep it succinct, but I have notes with me so that I can stick to my point. This is the video that I would have wanted when I was really going through it. I feel like for a long time I've really wanted to do an in-depth kind of talk on my acne journey because it's been a lot. I've really been through it with my skin since I was about 19. I have just discovered so much and I love sharing it, and it really is why I started this platform. Lifestyle tips, hacks. I will go through like my favorite brands that have legit stood the test of time, whether it's skincare or makeup. Anything that I can think to give you, I will. There are some products there that just have never ever failed me. And I not only have acne prone skin, but I have hypersensitive skin as well. If you're trying something or about to try something, I promise you I have already done, and I would just really like to talk about it. Growing up, I had perfect skin. I mean, like most kids. Coming up to when I was like 17, 18, this was a time when, you know, this was pre-Instagram, pre-YouTube really, where we just didn't have much information. So when I started getting into makeup, and I think this really is the first sort of pain point with people, is makeup. Makeup is far more detrimental than your skincare routine, and that's just something that I've really come to learn, because makeup is so much more harsh and full of crap really, that it doesn't matter if you have the perfect skin routine or genetically good skin, makeup really can mess it up. So this was when we would pile on like Revlon, CoverGirl, lots of comedogenic stuff, lots of toxic stuff. We just didn't really have the knowledge also of like how to remove makeup properly. So, you know, this is also the time of like Clearasil scrubs and really harsh, abrasive macro beads in exfoliants and stuff like that. And I feel like also back then, especially having like a boomer generation mother, I feel like you had every other makeup product in the house, you had every other skincare product in the house. Or for me, like personally, I think I was a real product of marketing. I feel like experimenting with my skincare was probably what messed me up to begin with, because in retrospect, I like ruined my own pH balance. So things kind of go a little bit out of whack for me by the time I graduated high school, which is 17. Nothing too bad, but bad enough that I really wasn't confident not wearing a full face of makeup, and I would really shy away from photos. I would shy away from social events because I actually was quite insecure about it. Always along my hormonal region and then some on my forehead at that time. So this is kind of jumping to when I'm 19, so I'm at university, drinking a lot. I was working at a juice bar that had a sandwich bar inside of it, and I was just living off like processed bread because it was free. You know, I wasn't really nutritionally aware at 19. I mean, who was back then? When you look at all the contributing factors to like hormone disruptors and pH balance disruptors, you know, anything from alcohol to coffee that I would just live on, especially on an empty stomach, that's all like endocrine disruptors. My skin, I guess, just got progressively worse in that year, and it led me to a doctor to just kind of find out what was going on. And my GP said that all other factors, like visible factors aside, I had PCOS. And you're not generally a candidate for it, or an obvious candidate for it, if you're not obese. And I don't think I had a flare-up at the time, but my acne was 100%, not only hormonal, but cystic, like properly cystic. So I was explaining this to him, and he said to go and get tested. So what they did was they did what was called a vaginal probe, and it's as uncomfortable as it sounds, but it was an ultrasound on my ovaries, and they found not cysts per se, but my ovary wall lining was so thick that I really did have a hard time producing an egg, and I was having a hard time even having like a full cycle of a period because just the irrigation isn't great down there. That then led me on to being prescribed the pill, which was the beginning of the end, I have to say. I think things really went from bad to worse. And this is the weird thing about, like, this was, you know, the early-ish 2000s, where your doctor just told you what to go on and said, yeah, try this one. And yes, the pill is trial by error, but I think a lot of girls now in hindsight went on the wrong one in the first place. I'm a pro-med girly, but if I had a daughter, she wouldn't be on it, put it that way. No regrets whatsoever coming off that. I'm not pro-pill, if I'm completely honest. I think there are other birth control means, but this is going to open up a can of worms, and this vlog is not what that's about. For me personally, I'm finding a lot of girls, like, of my generation just have a really difficult time with the pill, and it kind of begs the question, like, was it worth it? I think all the symptoms and the battles that you have coming off of it as well are really gnarly, and it just makes you think. The really interesting part is my doctor never prescribed it to me for birth control. He said, oh, this will clear your skin up, this will calm your hormones down. So I'm taking a synthetic pill every day to calm my hormones down. That never sat right with me. I don't like the idea of taking or relying rather on a med every day. I have ADHD, I don't even medicate for that every day, and I should, but I really just don't like it. I suffered for about 2 to 3 years on it, and I never spoke out. I think a lot of us didn't speak out because you're given it, you feel like this is the only option. You're kind of taught in school, you're a girl, then you get your period, then you go on the pill, and that's just it. And there's no one to challenge that, or there was no one to challenge that at the time. And we did not have, you know, the YouTube and the podcast that we have today that are so pro-hormone advocates. And the hormone awareness content that we have now is completely powerful. And I guess this is why I'm doing this video, because if this helps just one person get on top of their skin, or rather prevent problems from happening, I'm happy. I remember being prescribed so many times this antibiotic called minomycin that was supposed to get like some sort of fungal or cystic root cause down. So I was on that for ages. And then I was prescribed aldactone, which is sort of like a B grade roaccutane. So I tried all these like really harsh type of things, as well as being on the pill. The only way that I could really describe it to my parents was I felt not only sad, but hungover 100% of the time. And I really just felt like, I quickly stopped drinking, by the way, when I was younger. Like, I partied like everyone else, but I would usually cut myself off at like a couple or a few. Alcohol never ever sat well with me. So I wouldn't say I was a drinker. I drank, but I was not a drinker. I was certainly not a seasoned drinker, and I wasn't a binge drinker. I kind of parked that at 16, tried it once, didn't again. And alcohol's just never fully been my thing. And I did notice that after I would drink, of course, I would have massive flare-ups because of the sugar. Even when I would stop drinking, I just constantly felt like I had symptoms of a hangover. Really struggled getting out of bed emotionally, physically. Brain fog, just demotivation, a bit of like confusion, and I just feel like I was really fucking sad as a late teenager, and as, you know, through my 20s, just a really sad person. I just did not realize that there was so much like chaos biologically or like chemically going on in my body to do with my hormones. So I can't remember the transition coming off the pill. I think if you listen to anyone sharing a story about coming off the pill, it's a whole process, and it's just like coming off any hard drug. You know, there's no quick fix. It's not an overnight recovery. Your body is like literally fighting to reach an equilibrium, and it's not pretty. I do feel like from about 21 to 24, my skin is really good again, like super good. And it doesn't matter what I'm throwing at it, makeup or skincare wise, it's just good, great, no questions asked. I really wish in hindsight that I would have like kept it a lot better and a lot more diligently, but I kind of just took it for granted. Again, I just was not aware of what's going on. When I hit about 24 to 26 is when it started getting really bad again. Bad to the point where I just wouldn't leave the house, really wasn't comfortable in social situations, and it was this awful, awful vicious cycle of covering it up with makeup and it just getting worse and worse and worse. The things that were helping me at the time, I mean, this is when I got into like LED therapy, light therapy, and I would get like microdermabrasion, and I would get hydrofacials, and I would get an LED mask afterwards for like 20 minutes or whatever. And I bought one for my home as well. But I still am really struggling at the root with some sort of imbalance and really, really frequent flare-ups and stubborn cystic breakouts. When I did have a spot, the redness would just stick around for literal months. I'm very, very lucky I haven't got acne scarring, by the way. And I'll delve a little bit more into that, of what I think has helped save my skin throughout all of this. It has just been high highs and low lows, and a lot of GPs and a lot of skin, I guess, technicians or whatever they're called, all do tell me that I'm very lucky that I haven't scarred. Especially if you see a picture of it on like its worst day. It was just horrific. So I'm like somewhere between 24, 26 and cue a roaccutane prescription. My gut health really suffered with all the antibiotics that I was taking. So I'm kind of at the point where a lot of stuff is just out of whack. I would say roaccutane was the last resort. It was plan Z. It wasn't even plan B. And I was really sad when I had to go on it. It just, again, just really triggered me having to take this thing every day. And it really does impact your lifestyle. You're kind of like this bearded dragon shedding skin for the entire time. Like, it's not comfortable. Your skin is tight, it's sensitive, it's dry as hell. It's dry beyond belief. I remember one time I was having an oil massage, and the amount of times she reapplied a disturbing amount of oil to my back was just insane. Like, your body is like the Sahara. From your liver to potential infertility, it's not good, you know, and you're listening to it thinking, fuck, this is really my last resort, because I'm at my wit's end and I don't like going outside of the house anymore because, you know, my face is causing me stress and trauma. What roaccutane teaches you though is you kind of want to do like an overhaul of your entire skin and like makeup routine, and it makes you, I mean, I hope it makes you, but it made me super, super diligent with every single thing that was going in my body. That's kind of when I got really fastidious with things like washing my makeup brushes literally every week, switching all my products to something organic, more of like natural type of things, where sometimes I would exfoliate just with bicarbonated soda. It made me look deeply into certified organic products, and that's definitely where I got into core organics. Thank you, Miranda Kerr, for bringing this, because that was also at a time where we just weren't really educated on what the difference even between organic and certified organic was, let alone non-organic versus organic. I started using that, and I've been pretty religious with that. So this leads me to now, where I'm 33. I still battle it out with PCOS, but last year I got told I had endometriosis. So that's a whole thing. So I'm always going to have a difficult time like balancing my hormones, and I think I will always have hormonal breakouts. The last year, because I've had another flare up, by the way, the last year has been dedicated to isolating my cystic acne breakouts. I think the hormonal thing will always be there for someone like me, and that's fine. I mean, I have a spot right now because I just finished my period. I'm not having a meltdown over it. About 6 months ago, my cystic flare-up started happening again. And obviously my body is trying to tell me something. I'm much more clued on now. I can kind of tell with a breakout, my brain kind of diverts to my gut now. I don't feel so defeatist with it. I feel quite proactive, and I feel like a pretty holistic understanding of acne now. This flare-up recently is the worst I've had since the day I went on roaccutane. What has happened lately is my skin has cleared up, but from just here all the way down my neck, specifically on my chin bone, like my chin line, whatever that's called, jawline, Jesus Brooke. It's just the most horrific, stubborn, angry, cystic breakouts, like massive white heads, blind heads, red as hell, sore, disease from the dark ages. Like it wasn't good. Just nothing was working, and that was the most annoying part. And I remembered all of my training and it just wasn't happening for me. So I kind of ignored it for a bit because I thought surely it's going to go away, because I've had a pretty good run the last, couple years or whatever with my skin. Then it started on the back of my shoulders and has sort of migrated down to my mid back. And it's the same, like, it almost looks fungal, and I went down a rabbit hole of YouTubing like fungal acne. That's a thing. And a lot of people with like candida, that can cause a lot of people to have fungal flare-ups. So if you haven't explored that avenue, you probably should. Otherwise, it's probably cystic and or hormonal, just like mine. Kind of got a lot of like emotional triggers back from when my skin was really, really bad. And I just thought at 33, like, just having acne is not cute. I finally did see a dermatologist, and he thinks that it is mostly hormonal, and it's definitely cystic. He doesn't seem to think that it's fungal. I took him through every drug that I've been on and like the journey that I've been on with trying to get rid of it. And he said, have you ever had a prescription for a retinoid? Have you ever tried that? And I was like, what's that? And he just was quite shocked that I have never heard of what a retinoid is. I feel like I've been talking for a long time, so you can do your own research, but essentially it's not retinol, it's different. But what a retinoid is it's prescription only. What it does is it targets the hair follicles, which is where pimples, come out of, because it's an open pore, and it starts to sort of shrink and close your hair follicles. Now I have this gel retinoid. My dermatologist seemed to think that this really was like the missing piece of the puzzle for me, and that everyone with skin problems should have this. I think the targeting my hair follicles it just makes so much sense. Interestingly, I was looking at my neck last night, and I actually have, and I don't know if it's because I'm taking a lot of like hair supplements because I'm trying to like replenish my scalp hair. I kind of look like that kid in Jumanji where he's like an ape. It's so much hair like right on my neck here, and I couldn't really see under my chin, but perhaps I've opened up a lot of hair follicles and like that's why. But anyways, this is all food for thought, because if you do feel at a loss with your skin, I feel like the more people share like their learnings and their findings, maybe you'll kind of figure out the root cause of your acne. So in terms of products, this is kind of my favorite thing. This is like a holistic view from anything from supplements to vitamins, to topical things and whatnot. Starting off with what I was saying about gut health, two things with gut health is a pre and a probiotic, which is otherwise known as a symbiotic, and that plus like a kimchi or a sauerkraut type. So you want like your biotic and you want your fermented foods, and they both work like in perfect harmony for me to restore my gut flora. What I am taking at the moment is a pre and a probiotic from New, and I'm sorry, but I'm just a sucker for sexy packaging. So this on an empty stomach every day is great. I was taking seed symbiotic for a long time as well, but I have since run out. You get what you pay for, and that's like my number one advice is it's not a myth that the more expensive, the better. The second thing is cleanser. Now, everyone has different skin type. I've never liked a cream cleanser because I feel like it doesn't take my makeup off so well, and I don't know, I just really don't like the texture. So I've tried a bunch of oil cleansers before, and I just find them really, really gentle. And the one thing that is really important through when I'm having a breakout is to just not like physically disrupt my skin too much. So you don't really want to have to like rub it so bad. And I feel like a cream cleanser just makes me work too hard. It doesn't make sense to me. But my go-to oil cleanser has always been Glossier. Since the day that they brought this out, it has been worth its weight in gold. Moving on to exfoliators, and one tip I have if you're struggling with your acne is stop exfoliating so much. It leaves you with this feeling, acne does, where you feel dirty all the time. And I get it. I absolutely get it. But the vicious cycle is that we overwash our faces, and so our oil glands go into overproduction, and then we have breakouts, and it's a spiral from there. So don't be doing clay masks, don't be exfoliating too much, do not use an abrasive exfoliator. We tend to get very fixated on like the acids when we have acne, and you think that like the hard like glycolic acid or you know, some sort of something acid that I can't pronounce in the form of an exfoliator is gonna like erase everything, and it really does the opposite. So don't do that, no more than once a week. And my biggest tip is like, if you're gonna do an exfoliating routine that night or that day, at least have 24 hours where you've got a day or night that you're not wearing makeup. Because that's the other, like I said, vicious cycle where it's makeup, skincare, makeup, skincare, makeup, skincare, and your skin just doesn't really have a chance to breathe. Keep your skin as clear of products for as long as you can. It's sort of like planning your hair wash days. Like I plan my exfoliating days where I know for at least 1 or 2 days after that, I'm just not wearing a stitch of makeup. I've mentioned Cora Organics before. They are a brand that across the board agree with my skin, mostly because it's certified organic, it's clean, it's fragrance free, but also because there's a lot of like superfoods in this, and my god, the boosts that it gives my skin by way of like glow and firmness and like collagen production, all of that stuff, it's just one of the best brands ever to have come on the market. And they get better and better. So this one is the turmeric brightening mask. It's been in my toolkit for as long as I can remember. It is my trusted product. Very versatile in the sense that you can exfoliate with it in the shower. You can exfoliate with it in the shower and leave it on for a few minutes. You can use it as its own mask, so outside of the shower with like slightly damp skin. Anywhere between like your 5 and 15 minutes it stays on, and then you scrub it off from there. It's got very micro beads, and they dissolve, which is great, and that's when you know it's not plastic beads, because there's a lot of that. And the one thing I will say, just going back to the gel cleanser, is it's just best to let your products do the work for you and not have to do so much of this, because that's also going to really mess up your oil bed. So even with my cleanser, like I gently kind of put it on whether I have makeup on or not, and I just let it sit for like 30 seconds, and then I gently but thoroughly take it off again before I double cleanse. So I think letting your product sit on your face, we're not really conditioned to do, but that seems to be really working for me. But what I usually do after I've exfoliated with Cora is one of these two. This is the BHA liquid exfoliator from Paula's Choice. I got a small because I just wanted to trial it first. It's one of the harshest things I've bought in terms of smell, in terms of ingredients, in terms of how it feels, but it's also the most effective and gentle thing that I bought. So it feels like hospital grade chemicals, and when I bought it I was really scared that I was just gonna totally F my pH balance up, but this is phenomenal. It's a really deep exfoliation, and it brightens sort of instantly, which I'm obsessed with. So you put this on with your fingers, kind of like you would with the toner. Let that sit and then be on your way. Alternatively, I use the baby facial from Drunken Elephant, and drunk or drunken? Drunk. But this baby facial, I swear to God, is like magic. And it's these micro beads, and it's like a mask, and then when you take it off, you do your little exfoliation. Super, super key to just not put anything over it for like a good day, but you will see the most insane results. It is glowing, brightening, restorative, regenerative, all of the things. It's a really beautiful product. My skin never feels so clean, and it never looks so like clear. The other tip I was going to say is I kind of go through a phase, like a fair few nights a week, where I'm not moisturizing overnight. So whether I cleanse or whether I cleanse and I exfoliate, I think it's really key to just not overload your face, like I was saying before. I'm not a moisturize every night type of person. Sometimes I just like going to bed full on with a bare face, and then my skin can produce its own oils and not be like disrupted or overwhelmed by anything topical. And I think that's also a good way to prevent breakouts as well, is really like less is more. You just have to remember that. And the biggest, just going back to the makeup thing, the biggest thing that helped me heal my acne in the first place is taking a break from makeup and really, really spacing out when you're going to do a full face. Sometimes I will just do concealer, you know, in areas where I'm not acne prone or that I don't have visible pores in, or maybe just using like a mineral powder that day. But my God, if you can help it, just don't put makeup on your face. I went through a really, really long-winded period of just not wearing it at all to the office, out of a weekend, and now I'm just really comfortable with that. And it's a positive cycle after that. Your skin kind of just starts healing itself, and then so you're less red or you have less breakouts, and so you feel more confident. So you don't have to cover it up, and then it kind of just gets better from there. And, you know, I think either way you look at it, whether it's skincare or makeup, even the most incredible or like clean products, they are still chemicals at the end of the day. And there's nothing really natural about having stuff on our skin all the time. We also deal a lot with like fumes and toxins in the air. So just less is more, like, please trust me. We are coming up to the last of the products that I recommend, but good old witch hazel from anywhere that you can buy. It's a very cheap product. Every other chemist has it. Amazon has it. I'm using this one at the moment, but they're all the same, to be quite honest. Witch hazel is one of the most trusted things that has consistently like helped my skin. Whether I was having breakouts or not, I tone with this just like a couple of times a week. So once I've done my full skincare routine, I will tone. And it doesn't matter whether you're putting on your moisturizer later or if it's a non-moisturized night. I fit this into my routine a fair few times when I can. And it basically refines your pores. It shrinks them. I'm really forgetting what else it does. It basically, let me just read verbatim. It's an anti-inflammatory. This is obviously natural, by the way. It comes from a plant. It's antiseptic. It's clarifying. It's detoxifying. It's cooling. Then, I don't have this on me, but again, you can kind of get any brand, but you have to make sure with this one, it is like organic. It is grass-fed. It is, you've read the reviews on it. Beef tallow, yes. As a former vegan, I really did not even think that this would go on my skin, but I did my research about whipped beef tallow, and that is my new moisturizer. It agrees with me so much so that I definitely saw my skin get better in the first week. Wasn't expecting that. I really thought I was just getting influenced by TikTok. So it basically feels like butter going on. It feels like a bit of like a shea butter, and I've just noticed that that has 100% performed every single time it's on my face. And I love it so much so that I will put it on before makeup. And I do feel like, because it's so like, it's just so freaking luscious, I do feel like my makeup like sits better on my face. I've been using that instead of a primer, so there you go. Now, just going back to the supplements, yes, this is my pill box. If you want to know what like supplements I prefer to take, you can go on my last YouTube video where I have done a whole segment on that. But what I have been taking for ages that really help my skin is zinc. Zinc is just incredible for skin, but zinc is like the mother absorber of like all the vitamins and minerals, and zinc works really well with biotin and vitamin C, and they are the other two supplements that I take along with collagen. So that was a lot, and if you're still with me, thank you. I think if you're still with me, you were in desperate need of this exact video, and you're the exact person that I want to talk to and hopefully help. Like I said, been through the ringer. I deeply empathize with anyone that just feels at a loss and cannot get on top of this. So I really, really hope this video has helped you. I was very excited to do it. Message me any questions, of course. And also, if you have any advice, any tips, or any product recommendations, please, please, please comment or find me on Instagram and we can chat there.